We now welcome Kevin Harvick, driver of the number 4 Budweiser Chevrolet, currently 8th in points, series high 5 wins here at Phoenix, and has won the last 2 Phoenix races and 3 of the last 4. Clearly a good track for you, Kevin. Talk a little bit about your thoughts coming here this weekend.
Yeah, obviously we're excited. I think last week, was a little bit unexpected just for the fact that we made up a lot more ground than I think we anticipated going in. Came up a little bit short on the win, but coming here is obviously I don't think you could pick a better racetrack for us to come to and need to try to win a race. So we're really excited. Team's in good spirits and looking forward to the weekend's challenges.
All right, we are on a tight timeline here with Kevin. I'll take as many questions as I can. We'll start with Lewis, then go to Jeff.
So, Lewis Frank Reuters, how do you like having a hashtag named after you?
Well, obviously, the situation after the race was, I'd rather not have the hashtag named after me, to be honest with you. Obviously, the competitor in me loves the controversy and loves the situations that it puts your competitors in. The dad in you doesn't really enjoy the hashtag and doesn't really enjoy the circumstances of the situation, but live and learn, and you move on, and that's the one thing about this sport is you have to get over things quick, and for me, personally dealing with it during the week was fine, and I think as you move forward, you just have to do the best that you can to try to handle things different. So, all in all, it was it was a good weekend for us, but obviously afterwards, it's not the way you wanted it to end for us.
All right, we'll go to Jeff, Bob, Dave, and Tom.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. I'm curious, when you pushed them, it ended up igniting the brawl, but they weren't brawling at that time. So did you know, were you just trying to, get him toward him and say, hey, go talk to him, or were you trying to start a fight, I guess?
No, I think for me, I was just, honestly, I was leaning on the back of the car just kind of taking it all in and seeing what was going on. But I've been in that situation with him before. And for me, it's like the week of 2 totally opposite situations. I think I have no problem with the way Brad races. I think he races hard, and I think that's what we're all supposed to do. And in those positions, you probably do the same thing yourself. But I think that the problem that I have with it, I've been in that situation with him before and had him turn his back on me and just walk off. I don't think that's the appropriate way to handle those types of situations. So. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and I reacted, and obviously, didn't really realize that it was going to ignite that. But all in all, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way when you have to just turn your back on situations and walk off and mumble your way off into no man's land and not just handle the situation. I think that in those situations, you at least deserve to, even if you're going to get yelled at or whatever the case may be, you at least need to handle it like it needs to be handled.
For our next question, we'll go to Bob, then come up front to Dave.
All right, Bob Hocker, Sporting News. So I guess you're not kind of snickering about the whole thing, and 2, do you?
I can't really hear you.
You're not snickering about the whole thing. From last week?
Think in the end, it's, you guys know I love the controversy. But I think in the end, it's the difficult part for me is to go home and realize that one day you're going to have to answer those questions to your son. So, it's definitely 2 different sides and how you have to look at it and how you have to approach it. And, I think, you look at Martinsville and, how that situation was handled. I have a lot of respect for Matt and what he does on the racetrack, and you leave the track and you talk about things and you figure out what went wrong and how to handle things moving forward. There's just never that opportunity really presented with Brad, and I think that's what frustrates myself. I'm not going to speak for everybody else.
And do you need to win this weekend?
Do we need to win this weekend? I think you need to win this weekend. I don't think it's I think it would leave a lot less in everybody else's hands, and I think we're very capable of winning this race, and we've been fortunate to have a lot of success here in the past from my driving side and obviously the first race this year. So that'd be the easiest way to do it.
We'll now go to Dave, then Tom and Claire.
Dave Call, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Kevin, do you have a feel for sort of where the line is when, with all this post-race stuff, when intensity turns into sort of a sideshow, gets away from the main purpose, which is racing?
Yeah, I think it's it's the old argument that everybody has. There's fines and different things for everything that happened, but it's the head advertisement on Monday morning and the week leading up to the race. So, I think all in all, the hardest thing is having the crew guys get involved. That's really the biggest problem with the whole thing that I see. In my opinion, you should park the cars in a fenced-off area, and if you have a crew member go inside that fenced-off area, your car's disqualified for the race, and we can all get out of our cars by ourselves and take our helmets off and take our window nets down, and I think that would solve a lot of problems. I mean, a lot of these guys are 280-pound linebackers that came from whatever school, professional football, baseball, whatever team, and that part of it is not good. So, yeah.
We'll take our next question. Tom, go ahead.
Hi, Kevin. Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. Who do you see as the 4 drivers advancing out of here and making it to Homestead?
Never even thought about it.
Next question, Claire.
Claire Beelang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Appreciate that you came in here so we could ask you all these questions, because a lot of talking behind the back questions have come up. And some people have been saying, well, Kevin Harvick stood back there and he's so smart that he decided he wanted to try to start a fight so they could fight it out amongst themselves and it would benefit him in the chase.
These people don't realize how dumb I really am. These people all think I'm way smarter than I think I'm lucky more than smart. When these types of things happen. So, it's like I say, obviously there's a lot of things stirred up with your competitors in the garage that are talking about things that are things other than their race car. So that side of it is okay. But in the end, it's really not the perception that you want to send. I look at it from my son's standpoint. That's my new measuring stick of how I reacted to something. So, in the end, though, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna do things wrong, and you're gonna have to figure them out and move forward and explain those things better. So, but the competitor side of you is not completely disappointed.
We'll go to Alan for our next question.
Alan Cavana, NASCAR.com. The restart where Brad hits Jeff, I think on the radio, a few people call it like he body slammed Jeff. Could you imagine having to make a similar move, as early as Sunday, if the race is on the line?
Like I say, I have no problem with the move. I have no problem with the way that he raced. I just have a problem with the way that in those situations that there's going to be controversy when all that stuff happens, and in the end you can't just turn your back and walk away. And just act like it didn't happen and blame it on somebody else. It's just not how it works.
Okay, we'll take a question here from Jim.
Jim Peltz, the LA Times. Kevin, just so we're clear, do you regret making the shove, or wish you hadn't done it?
I can't hear him.
Do you regret making the shove of Brad? Do you, just for the record?
I never look back on something as a regret. I think you look back on them as lessons. Things happen and you have to react, and obviously, I think as you look at the situation, you probably could have handled it differently. But all in all, you just take it as a life lesson and move on.
One final question for Kevin. All right, Stan.
Stan Creekmore with Competition Plus. Kevin, I want to go back to a statement that you made about all the cars should stop, the driver should get out on his own, and everything like that. You say you're not smart, but yet that sounds extremely intelligent. Have you passed on that to NASCAR officials?
Yeah, and it was, NASCAR's actually asked how they could handle things better in that situation, but it's pretty simple. You park all 43 cars or however many cars are running, you have a contained area wherever you want to put it, and you put that in whatever the specified area is, and if a crew member goes in and your car's disqualified, it's a pretty simple policing process. So they're definitely listening. They don't want to see something like that could have an outcome that nobody wants.
Kevin, thank you for your time today. Good luck this weekend.